Hello everyone and welcome back to the back nine of the final round league card 2017 KyyOpen Euro Tour event. We have an incredible back nine for you. We've got Väinö Mäkelä, Greg Barsby, myself, and of course Jani Hirsimäki. And we pick up here with the action. Greg Barsby is in the middle of a 3-hole birdie streak, has climbed himself from 4 back to tied with the lead. On hole 10 here, we have a downhill, 300-something foot, maybe actually a little bit shorter than that hole. You just want to throw something to hit this initial gap and just slightly fade off to the right. That was coming in pretty nice and actually hit a root or a rock or something and left it about 12 meters away from the basket. And here we have the young kid, the Väinö Mäkelä, share with the lead. Catches an early tree and kicks right. That is a bad place to kick. We'll see if he can get out of that damage. And Jane, Mr. Super Cool, super clean, great forehand. Almost goes in the basket. A great shot. And here we see the forest that Väinö has put himself in. Let's see if he can get out of there. And that's a great recovery shot. He's left himself less than 8 or 9 meters or so. Nice birdie putts from myself and Jani. And Greg to keep things going here. Low and left, but it's in. He's got his 4th straight birdie. And Väinö escapes to the par. And Greg takes the lead at 13 under. Väinö and myself at 12. Hole 11, a very tricky tee shot. There's a couple different options. A forehand is a great way to get out the gap, but doesn't get you the distance that you'd like. Unless you're Greg Barsby and you can somehow throw 500-foot hyzer sidearms. I don't know how he does that, but he's really talented with that shot. And that's a great place to be there. This hole really sets up well for a power and hyzer. I believe I'm throwing a destroyer here, which has gone a great distance, but unfortunately it is a bit further right than you'd like to be. It's a very specific landing zone to be able to attack the second shot. And Mr. Hirsimäki with a nice tee shot. Fades a bit left, but he should be able to throw a hyzer into the green. Let's see what the young kid goes with here. Really quality ankle control. Maybe actually turned it over a bit too much, but fortunately does not cut roll for him. He's going to be in the middle of the fairway. And here, there's a couple different options. You can go spike hyzer over the top and try to just play your odds with where the trees and the disc, you know, what happens there. And that's what Väinö's tried to go with. He's left himself well short, though. And there's a ton of trees between himself and the basket there. The other option is to go low and try to play the skip shot. And we see Jani trying that, but he is a bit early himself. And he catches some trees, and there's going to be a ton of trees between himself and the basket from there. And Greg has landed near the circle's edge. He might be in the circle. And the only option from there was a spike hyzer. And I actually, when I heard the sound of those trees, I thought that I might be well short, but I was fortunate enough to get through everything and be right under the basket. And Jani does not have much from there. but he nails it anyways. What an incredible putt there from 15 meters, maybe more. Threads the gap. Right after he made this putt, he showed us a video or a picture that he had taken the first round where he had a similar putt. He made the same putt earlier in the tournament. So Yanni's proven that he's got what it takes when he's in the woods. And Vino tries to match Yanni's putt and comes up a bit short. Potential for Greg to take another stroke on Vino here. Oh, he's feeling it right now, folks. After that bogey that Greg took on hole 6, he has gone 5 down through the last 5 and is really showing the fire right now. Moving on to hole 12. One of the more difficult par 4s in the course just because the tee shot is so demanding. Very tight, long turnover or hyzer flip sidearm is the preferable shot here. And I think Greg thought that he was too tight off the tee, but it's actually dead center perfect. I remember he looked back at me after that tee shot and he kind of gave me the, whew, that was close look. And that's another great tee shot to get out the gap. That is better than you really expect. You really just want to get to the mouth of the gap. That's really all you need to be able to throw a clean shot from there. And another solid forehand here. Yanni with a little bit wider route, which actually gives him the spike hyzer backhand approach, which might be preferable to where Greg and I are. And Vino rips this tee shot. He is faded off way left, but I mean, this is as far as you can really even throw a disc off this tee. I mean, the fact that there were 4 drives on this hole and not one of them hit a tree is pretty impressive. Left a little bit of work to do, maybe 10 meters or so from the basket, but not a bad approach. And this is just crazy to see where Vino is. That is so far. Easily the longest drive I've ever seen off the tee. And he left himself about 12 meters or so. And it looks like Greg is just going to go with a straight eagle shot with a slight hyzer. Plays it a bit short, but a really good shot from there. And Yanni is try to give it a run, but is going to have to settle for a par. And that is a tough break. Top of the chains, but just a little bit too high. Falls out to the right side. And I've got about the same amount of distance that I just had. This time it's for par.
Oh my God, did it again.
Yep. Yeah, did it again. Now we're putting from where we were putting for birdie, but this time for bogey. And Greg shows us how to do it. 6 in a row at this point. Absolutely lighting it up. As Vino cleans up his par, Yanni will do the same. And we'll be moving on to a very tricky hole 13. And just like that, Greg has a 3-stroke lead. This stretch of holes is really one of the hardest in the course, and he has gone 6 birdies in a row. In hole 13, 118 meters. This is crazy to see Greg throwing a sidearm here. This is so difficult to throw this distance, and he is throwing it absolutely perfect. I have never seen a forehand get the distance, and he's actually thrown it long. The typical play you'll see here from most players is a right-hand backhand roller. But the forehand flex down the middle like that, it suits the fairway, but you have to have a ton of distance and perfect angle control. And Yanni is throwing a great shot here as well. And Vino's going for the air shot. So tricky for a right-hand backhand player to go with the air shot and land that one close. So many different things that can happen, especially when it's as windy as it is right now. And I am lining up a backhand roller, which is just turned in too early, but it's kind of working actually, and it's up there. We're about 55, 60 feet away from the basket. Excuse me, 17 to 20 meters. You have to excuse me, I'm an American. And pretty good bid there from Yanni. And this was a very important putt from at that time, with Greg being as parked as he was. There's not many holes left, and he's playing phenomenal golf. 7 straight birdies here. And that putt has to go in to give myself any chance of being able to give him a run for his money here towards the end. And Vino, with a little bit of camaraderie there, picks up Yanni's disc for him and taps in at the same time. Moving on to hole 14, a par 5. 255-meter hole. Slight hyzer off the tee. Really just want to make sure you hit this initial gap and just get somewhere out there in the field.
Get over that. Yeah, baby.
The tee.
No skip shot? No skip.
And Yanni threads it down the middle perfectly. Almost all the way to the pin. Have a look at eagle from about 15 meters or so. This hole is very tricky just because of the distance and the fact that the left side and right side of the hole all the way down are OB. And Greg's shot has just barely managed to come back in bounds. That could have been very costly had it stayed out. But he is safe. He's going to have an outside look for eagle and a very easy birdie if he doesn't make that. And Yanni's just in the middle, still a couple hundred feet short of the basket. And this looks pretty nice from here. However, he's gone a bit long and is going to have a really tricky comeback putt. This green is nicely protected all the way around, 360 degrees around the basket. So even Greg's putt for eagle here, he's actually going to go with a forehand shot, something that he's done before. But from this distance, you'd really like to be able to give it a normal putt. And a pretty safe shot there. And if there was ever an open door, here it is. Greg laid up for his birdie. Here's a shot for eagle. And just didn't want it enough, just not high enough. Too scared of going long. Because the last thing you want to deal with is a comeback putt like Yanni has. On a knee, low ceiling. But it doesn't matter. That's the second one this round. He's just drilled from a very awkward stance. So much fun to see people make putts like that. And I'm heading back over there and I'm looking at the line with him and he's showing me, and that's just awesome. So 4 birdies there. Everyone stayed away from OB and managed to get up in 4 shots, which is very impressive. Greg still got a 3-stroke lead. Only 4 holes to go. Hole 15, 208 meters, 682 feet. Another one that's really tricky because of the distance. The tee is pretty open, but the green is on a slope. And really, to go forehand off the tee here means that he's going to be going pretty big on his second shot. And this is not good, ladies and gentlemen. This is out of bounds. Never really had a chance of turning over. And yeah, that's me throwing up the X sign, realizing with 3 strokes down and 4 holes to go, Greg being in bounds and me being out of bounds, my chances of winning are pretty much gone at this point. And Yanni plays the safe shot. That secures a par, but makes it very difficult to get to the green in 2 for the birdie. And oh, Huva Haito indeed for Vino as he throws a big turnover driver. That's going to leave a pretty short approach. And, you know, actually, maybe I was wrong. Yanni is all the way up there, 2 forehand shots. Maybe that's the way to play this hole. I'm going big high shot here with a Firebird, which has caught the hillside and rolled a bit further away than you can see there, but it's still within par save distance. And a great shot for Greg. And that scoots a bit long, but he is on an 8-hole birdie streak, so you're feeling like anything that he gets anywhere near the basket is going to go in the hole. And routine shots there from Vino. 2 shots in a row. And ladies and gentlemen, Greg Barsby's human. That's his first par on the back 9. And you can hear the wind picking up here. Really tricky when you have a hole that's this exposed, this wide open, and putting on a green that's slightly sloped like this one is. Vino with a great birdie there. And Greg's taking his time to make sure he doesn't do anything silly. Just going to tap in his par, as will Yanni. And with that birdie bogey swing there, that puts Vino back in second place, 3 strokes back at Greg. Myself at 13 and Yanni at 11 under, heading into the last 3 holes. And if there's a picturesque hole in this course, this is certainly one of them. Hole 13, elevated tee. Hole 16, elevated tee. Super difficult, super tight. And there's just nothing better than throwing a shot down this fairway and just throwing it right down the middle. It happens so rarely, it seems like, but when it happens, it's a thing of beauty. And Greg has made his first mistake on the back nine. He has hit an early tree and kicked right, and that makes it very difficult to get up and down. And there's the third straight drive that has hit something. Kind of opened the door for a potential jump here. And that door is shut.
Back door.
And clean most of the way through, leaving a little bit left there for the par. And you can see what Greg's looking at. So many different routes to choose. And I believe he was going for that outside route and just left it a bit early there on the release. And that is going to be a bogey for the birdie man, Greg Barsby. And a very nice little fadeaway putter approach there from Vino. He's going to have a tap-in par. Uh-oh. And Greg has missed his par putt. He's going to have to settle for a bogey. And let's see if Yanni can pull another one out here. Second tree in a row on a putt. He's going to have to settle for bogey. And the par putt is in. I knew that that was important, dealing with a close battle here with Vino. And being so many different talented players on the second and third card, you never know who's chasing from behind. So Greg's kind of dealing with the disappointment of a single bogey here, but he's got a pretty secure lead here. 2 strokes with 2 holes to go. And this is going to be the narrowest gap you're going to see in disc golf. This hole is so tight off the tee that it is ridiculous. You have to get through this gap, and if you don't, bogey is almost imminent. You really can't save par from anything outside of a perfect drive through the gap. As you see Vino clap his hands, he's pumped. He is not only out the gap, but he's over that hedge. He's going to be on the hillside, almost out of birdie range, but being through this gap is huge. And throwing forehand off the tee is almost a concession at the beginning of relinquishing birdie chance. But it's so important to get off this tee and get a par that birdie is really not really in my sight on this hole. And you see Barsby's kind of going for a similar strategy, but that's the strategy you want to have when you have the lead going into this hole. And anything, kick left, kick right, kick back, it's all bad. Barsby kicks right, Yanni kicks left. Let's see if they can salvage something better than a bogey. And Barsby's going to be in a really bad situation. He's only 150 feet off the tee after 2 shots. See if he can get up and down for his bogey. A double bogey would be costly here. It would give away the lead, and he'd be tied with Vino going into the last hole. And a nice recover shot. It's going to leave him 5 or 6 meters away or so. And that was a bit of an effort. I was trying to make that one, but just a little bit left, and we'll have to settle for a par here. And really nothing else Vino could do. Low ceiling, uphill, gives himself a tap-in par there, so he's going to be one stroke behind Greg if Greg can tap in his bogey putt. And Yanni unable to save his par. He's going to tap in for his bogey. And par for myself. And Greg a little bit closer than it looked from the initial angle. So he taps in for his bogey. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a one-stroke separation between Greg Barsby and Väinö Mäkelä going into the last hole of the 2017 KyyOpen. It doesn't get much more exciting than this. 100 meters, wide open, 328 feet. The basket is in a very precarious location. Anything left of the basket, if you throw the backhand, is going to skip down the hill. And a hyzer that comes into this hill too fast can skip OB long and left. And Väinö's given himself a chance for birdie. He's a little bit short off to the right. And I'm thinking I want to get a hole-in-one here. And didn't really give it a chance for a hole-in-one, but it's up there pretty close to the basket nonetheless. And Greg has pushed the OB line. We do not know if he's in bounds or not, but he's up there near pin high. It's going to be very interesting to see where that disc landed. And Yanni with a nice forehand there. You want to be just on the other side of the bush, just like Yanni is. And it appears as if Greg is inbounds and he is away. He does not know. Oh, and the door is open now for Väinö, who has about 11 meters left. Oh, and that was so close, just barely off the left side. He got the height perfect. And a great putt from Yanni, a great finish. A little fist pump there for his caddy and the fans. And just having a little conversation with Väinö. I'll go ahead and tap in, give you the honor for second place finish. Well played, effort. And Väinö taps in. Man, that was so close. We thought we might see it play off. And Greg taps in for his par, and he is the 2017 KyyOpen champion at the Lausta Disc Golf Course in beautiful Turku, Finland. Incredible event, well ran by Juho Rontalaiho.
Ladies and gentlemen, KyyOpen 2017 champion Greg Barsby.
An incredible bounce-back finish for Greg Barsby after a disappointing finish at the European Open the week before. We had a 70-hole one lead and lost it on the last hole to the dominating force that is Paul Macbeth. And look at all those fins. An incredible turnout on one of the best courses in the world, in my opinion. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the coverage, and once again, congratulations to your 2017 KyyOpen champion, Greg Barsby.